FatDag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at FatDag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're at a point, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 181. Truly honored again to always be here with you. And it's interesting. You know, we hang out just before the show. We hang out on Facebook. We hang out on Instagram. We got some folks on YouTube. We have some folks hanging out in the Discord app. And so many of the conversation before the show is so awesome to see because we actually have a virtual meeting room before the show. It's so cool to see. You know, I get caught up in everyone checking in, and then I start reading the comments and everyone is saying hi to everyone else. And I think that is just so cool that we built a community around the 10 to 15 minutes before we go live on the show. Then as I start doing the show, you know, that community continues to interact to each other. So I encourage you, if you've always been the person who's just been listening to the app, listening to the podcast, wherever you get podcasts, join us on Facebook, join us on Instagram, join us on YouTube. Go to FatDag.com, you'll find it. Here we go with the first email. Nancy writes in, she says, I am so upset and at the giving up point. I rejoined Weight Watchers for a second time 3 weeks ago after a short stint last year, September through November. So this time, the first week, I had a half-pound loss. Woohoo, sarcastically. The second week, 0.8 of a pound. Really? Question mark. I've been listening to all of your podcasts. I'm a member of the 5 a.m. club, etc. So the third week, I decided that I would begin weighing daily like you do. I belonged to a different program where daily weigh-in was required, so I was familiar with the concept and why. So today was my official weigh-in day, a gain of 2 pounds. Well, I had all blue dots this week with no cheating. I had 96 unused fit points, 39 unused weeklies. I had a perfect attendance at the gym this week with at least 1 hour of treadmill or weights. I'm about to throw in the towel. I really want to believe all that you say about me being able to do this, but I'm afraid the scale begs to differ. Any thoughts on this before I unplug and pack it up? Nancy. Well, Nancy, I understand the frustration on this journey more than you understand probably because I lived it. And I got to tell you a couple things is that you can't follow what I do to get your success. Certainly I had success, and certainly I continue to have success in the program. Hundreds of people all have success in the program. I don't know a single person who found all of their success in 3 short weeks. Keep up with your program. What you're doing, what you've written in is absolutely perfect. First week, half a pound loss, 0.8 of a pound. That's because you're out there getting it done. You're tracking, you're getting your blue dots. That's amazing. That's how you stay on track. That's how you stay in tune to the program. That's how you get it done. You're tracking your fit points, great work. You're getting to the gym, great work. Isn't that the reward? 39 unused weeklies. I would certainly recommend at some point you hop into some of them. Make a better choice with them. You know, certainly just because you have the weeklies, I certainly want you to eat them, but I want you to make good, healthy choices around them because they're there. At some point, you are now completely changing your life. You're completely changing your body. Your body doesn't know what to expect at this point. You haven't been doing it long enough for your body to get into any sort of routine. 3 weeks is not certainly enough to do it. Daily weighing will absolutely frustrate you. And my advice to you personally, is actually stop with the daily weighing. I certainly do it. You know, if you go to FatDag.com, you'll see my every single morning I hop on the scale. It took me a long time to get to that point. I understand the scale is data, but the scale doesn't own me. And when you get to that point where you're frustrated and you want to throw in the towel and you want to give up and you want to unplug and you want to pack it in, the last thing you need to do is look at the scale playing games with you. And the scale weight, even mine, it fluctuates up and down every single day. There are days when I want it to be down and it's up. There's days when I think it's going to be up and it's down. I get that because I weigh in daily. It's why if you go to the meeting and you check in, you follow the plan, you weigh in weekly, and you can consistently stick with it, you will get to the point where the program starts working for you. It worked very well the first couple weeks. You were down the first 2 weeks, and then you started playing games and messing with it, trying to figure out ways to speed up the progress. I assure you that you can get to where you want to go, but you have to stick with it for longer. This isn't a plan that you can just hop in, do what you need to do, and get out. It doesn't work that way. What we're working on here is a way for you to completely change your life. If you want to completely change your life, there is no way to give up. You can't give up on your new lifestyle. You start building a new lifestyle around going to the gym, eating your blue dots perfectly, no cheating, getting fit points, perfect attendance at the gym. That is how you completely change your life. That's worthy of celebration. If you've done that and you continue to do that, your body will absolutely catch up and reward you. Nancy, I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to quit. Quitting will only give you a new start date. The reason you joined never goes away until you completely solve it. So sit down for a second. Let's take an inventory. Let's figure out, why did you join? Why are you here? You rejoined for a second time, so clearly you know that the first time you had some success, or else you wouldn't have bothered coming in for a second time. So you know the program works. You have to now follow the program so that it works for you. Don't emulate me. Don't emulate anything else that you see from anybody else. Work the program as it's designed and stay in your own lane, stay in your guidelines, and you will get the success you're looking for. Nancy, listen here. I believe in you. I absolutely believe this is possible. I believe it's hard work. I believe you can do it. I believe you can have the success. But what I believe is that you're going to have to put in the effort and stick with it. If you do that, you'll have success. Out of Tucson, Arizona, Jane writes in, she says, "Hi, FatDag. Well, my story is probably similar to many. I've been overweight since the 3rd grade. I can remember blaming the newly installed candy machine on my weight gain. My mother took me to a diet doctor before my bat mitzvah so I could lose some weight. I weighed in 175 pounds. I was in 6th grade. Back then in the 1970s, though, no kids were really overweight, so I really stood out. Despite my size, I don't really remember ever being teased, and I always had friends. In the 8th grade, I went on to my first diet, that was my idea. I got down to 150 pounds, got complacent, although at the time I didn't have a name for this, and I gained back all the way up to 165. I managed to stay between 165 and 175 between high school and college. I went to Weight Watchers with my mom for the first time when I was a senior in college. I lost 4 pounds, and she lost 7 pounds the very first week. I was so angry that she lost more when I followed the plan better. I knocked over the scale. Yes, I knocked it over. In fact, it's probably the reason why, because of me, that Weight Watchers no longer uses the standing scales. I gained steadily from age 20 to 40, topping out at 260 pounds. I lost a little on my own and finally rejoined Weight Watchers at 247 pounds. That was 2001. I lost weight. I got down to 165 pounds, which was my high school weight, and I believe my set point. I never reached goal, and I eventually just quit. I white-knuckled it for over 10 years, never really changing my habits, but binging and then eating too little and exercising too much to maintain my weight loss. As you've pointed out, I was trying to make my old lifestyle fit with my new lifestyle. I hovered around 165 to 186 pounds for the next 10 years. Much better than 247 for sure, but you know what? I was still not happy with my weight, but I didn't understand yet that I was actually had to change my life in order to change my life. I rejoined Weight Watchers February 2016. Things were different this time. I found Connect. I started following people who not only inspired me, but helped me see all of my incorrect thought patterns. Well, I blew it, so I might as well overeat until Monday. I gained 1 pound. This doesn't work. I will just quit and binge. It's funny, when I started seeing that I had these same thoughts, I was able to see that they were in fact just plain silly. I followed you from the beginning, and finally one day, I listened to your podcast. You said some basic things that turned out to be game changers for me. When you're out of points, stop eating points. It's pretty simple. You advised me to just trust the program, don't overcomplicate it. You may not know this, but I actually thought I knew more than Weight Watchers. I hit goal at 150 pounds in lifetime, but I still didn't have that goal feeling you describe, but yet I had lost 97 pounds. Fast forward to today, and now I weigh 138 pounds, and voila, the magic, mysterious goal feeling. It's as you describe. You can't describe it until you feel it, and I can confirm there is not a chance in heck that I will ever let this feeling go. It's crazy, right? Like you said, those last 10 pounds are the magic. I used to hear that saying, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, and I think, yeah, that's just plain pure BS. But you know what? It is the truth. So, in total, I've lost 109 pounds. I'm 54 years old, and I'm at the lowest weight ever in my life. If a kid who had her first binge at age 3, yes, age 3, I ate an entire family-sized bag of M&Ms, can lose weight and maintain her weight loss, this is possible for anyone. Thanks for letting me ramble, and thanks for your great podcast. You truly do make a difference. Best, Jane. Jane, congratulations on completely changing your life and validating a couple things that I know to be true. And one of them certainly is, you're right, the last 10 pounds is absolutely different than anything else you've ever experienced. When you hop on the scale and you say, I don't want to lose any more weight, there's nothing like that. Nothing tastes as good as that internal pride, as that internal feeling of knowing that you're not overweight. When you've lived with it for so long, when you can finally say, I don't want to lose any more weight, it's powerful. And that only comes at the last 10 pounds, and it is absolutely pure magic, and it is the truth. Congratulations on getting to goal. Congratulations on understanding that it takes hard work to get here. It takes you digging in. It takes you not giving up. It takes you accepting a 0.8 pound gain, a 0.8 pound loss, a 0.4 pound gain, a 0.4 pound loss. It takes all of those numbers combined to lose 109 pounds. You did it at 54 years old, and you're absolutely right. It's possible for anyone. It's possible for anyone. There are so many different ways to do this. This may not be the way for everyone, but it absolutely is possible for everyone. So you absolutely can do this, and I'm so glad you've written in, because just like you, I want everyone who's out there, I want them to be able to join us in this celebration. And the truth is you have to do it by trusting the program. Don't overcomplicate it. And you wrote in at the beginning, you said your story is so similar to many, and sure it is, but it's also not. We're all individuals, and we all have our own way of working the plan. But if you start looking at them at a broad sense, yeah, they are kind of all the same, which is why it's important for us to share the details so that we start realizing that even though that they're different, they're similar enough where we can get it done. We can do anything that we want, and we just really have to find a way to get it. I think it's really cool, talking about when you were a kid, you don't ever really remember being teased, and you always had friends. I think that's very, very cool. And how cool would it be today if our world was so accepting in all the environment that we live in today? And I think we can make that difference. I think we can get to the point where we can start loving each other and encouraging each other, and we can build a community that accepts us for exactly who we are and then helps us change to get to the better. And the last thing I want to do is I want to address the anger that when you and your mom following this plan together, you're following the plan better than her, and she lost more weight than you do, and you knocked over the scale. I got to tell you, when I first read it, I chuckled a little bit, and then I backed off and said, I get it. I can feel the frustration in that moment. I know exactly what you're like. When you walk in, you've done everything right. And you say, I'm proud of you. And then you pop in and you don't get the data that you want. It's incredibly frustrating. And when you really, you get into that mindset, you get into that rut, it leads exactly to where you were, where you never really reach goal. Eventually you just quit. And in your words, you say you white-knuckled it for 10 years, never changing your habits, but binge eating too little, then exercising too much. What a miserable lifestyle that is. Where every single morning you're waking up, begging, and then you're adjusting your day based on what you've had the day before. It's absolutely miserable. There has to be a better way. And then the better way isn't, though, to try and make your old lifestyle fit into your new lifestyle. Because your old lifestyle is what led you all the way to where you are today. What you have to do is you gotta find a way to take the great pieces of your old lifestyle and then take the pieces that aren't not so great and build yourself a completely new life. That's what you've done. That's what you've done by losing 109 pounds. And at 54 years old, you have the rest of your life to celebrate. You absolutely can do this. You have to continue to trust the program. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't believe that maybe we know more than the folks at Weight Watchers, right? I see that all the time. And I'll admit, I was the same way at some point. As I would hop on the scale and I would say, I know the plan better. And I would redevelop a program that they spent thousands of millions or whatever dollars developing. I'd walk in and say, well, they don't know me. But certainly the program has to be flawed. And you've proven, Jane, that you just trust the program and you can get it done. Congrats on that goal feeling. It's exactly as we described. It's awesome, isn't it? When you hop on the scale and you say, I don't want to lose any more weight. It's powerful. It's very powerful. Jane, thank you so much for sharing. Out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Carly writes in. She says, good morning. I just started listening to your podcast after rejoining Weight Watchers this month. Here's to being hopeful that the third time's a charm, especially after gaining 50 pounds in the last year. First off, I want to say thank you for your contribution to the Weight Watcher community. Starting out the day listening to you on my commute to work leaves me feeling empowered and ready to take on the day. So again, I thank you for that. If I had to look at my current weight loss, 15 pounds down since September, all on my own, 7 pounds down in 3 weeks on the program, I would contribute my loss on the program to meal prep and planning, eating out less frequently, and not socializing out in the bars on the weekends with my friends. I'm in my young 30s with my best girlfriends all being single, with the weekends being their opportunity to go out and mingle. I, myself, will be getting married in September, which is one of my many reasons why this is important to me. As I really want to feel beautiful and confident on my wedding day. The advice that I'm seeking from you is, how do I balance living my past life with my friends while also choosing to opt out to be better, to stick to my goals and plan, which really doesn't include several drinks on the weekends? I worry right now that I may not have the self-control when in that environment, but I also don't want to shun my friends. I look forward to hearing from you. Kindest regards, Carly out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Carly, great job. 15 pounds down. That doesn't happen by accident. You clearly have dialed in. I'm pretty sure that when you get to that first 15-pound point in your goal, you start realizing that the program actually works. And you start realizing that what's happening is you are making the change to make it better. Now, I'm proud of you for that, but I want to address something that I think is very, very important. And one of your whys is that you want to feel beautiful and confident on your wedding day. And I'm here to tell you that you can feel that right now, actually. You don't need to finish this journey to have that feeling. Certainly the feeling may be different, but you can feel beautiful on your wedding day regardless of where you are at this point. And I want you to take a moment and think about that because it's absolutely important to this journey. Now you start the journey off by saying, here's to hoping that this can happen, be a third time's the charm. And if you listen to the show, you know that hope is not a plan. You can't hope for weight loss. You can't hope for this. You can't wish it to be luck. Luck and hope, although they're very important, they don't play into this journey. What plays into this journey is focus. What plays into this journey is discipline. What plays into the journey is you starting every day getting focused on what your goals are. If you wake up every single day with a to-do list and you read it first, there's a good chance you're going to get some of those things done. So when you start the day empowered, ready to take on the day by listening to the podcast, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for success. You're finding a tool that simply reminds you of what your goal is. It reminds you that you can do it. It shows you so many other people who've done it. And you leave that morning, that first thing in the morning, you go, I can do this. We talked about that in episode 180. I can do this. It's empowering to say that. Now, your advice that you're seeking, how do you balance your past life? And how do you, try and blend the two? It's really interesting. I had this exact scenario come up to me. And Lisa, if you're listening, it was very nice to meet you the other night. So we went to a charity auction and I'm up at the bar. My wife is out mingling. And so I head up to the bar to get something to drink. And so I ordered 2 waters. That's what I wanted at the bar. And Lisa comes up and she stands next to me and she kind of looks at me and looks over and looks at me. And she said, "Are you on Weight Watchers?" Which is not exactly the best pickup line at a bar, let's just say. But it was kind of funny and it caught me off guard. I said, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "I thought I recognized you." And we had a great conversation. She's doing amazing. She looks amazing. I would have never guessed she was a Weight Watcher member either. And so we had a quick conversation about, us ordering water at this place. There was hundreds of people in this room. It's packed. The bartenders are going back and forth, running all over the place. And here we are begging to get their attention to get a couple waters. And so as we stood there talking, one of the things she said, which plays perfectly into this, is she's like, I have to choose which lifestyle I want now. Do I want a lifestyle where I'm ordering water at the bar and I look good and feel healthy? Or do I want the lifestyle that I gave up that didn't lead me to a healthy path? And when she said that, even though I knew it to be true, hearing her say it unprompted reminded me, Carly, exactly of what your email is now saying. So that's one of the greatest struggles is we feel like we have to do this for our friends. And we feel like when we get into that environment that everything they're doing, we just kind of have to do the same thing. And that's not the case. You can balance your past life with your new life, but you are going to have to make some changes. Your past life puts you in a place where you're now writing into the show, seeking advice, asking for help. That's a great place to be. I'm so proud of you for being here, but that's what your past life has given you. Your new life is so full of hope and so full of promise, so full of joy. You can do that, and it has nothing to do with shunning your friends. It has everything to do with you being there, being in the moment. You can enjoy their company. You can enjoy the atmosphere. There's so much more to a lot of these environments that you can actually, take a benefit of. But it takes you pausing. It takes you starting the day empowered. It takes you saying, I know what my goals are, and I want to get it done. What life would you rather have? And so, they're both great, but one of them is significantly different. But you've got to make some hard choices to choose a new life for yourself. When you get there, I promise you the effort is worth it. I promise you your friends will still be there for you. I promise you can make it all work. You can rebalance all of it. But if you kind of continue to live in that middle where you're trying to do it all, you'll never understand the true experience that we want you to get to. I want you to change your life. I know you can change your life. It has nothing to do with hope, has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with you going after there, getting it done, looking gorgeous on your wedding day, feeling confident on your wedding day, and then continuing a brand new life from that point forward. Thanks for your note. Absolutely. Meredith out of West Bend, Wisconsin writes in. She says, my rejoin date is December 11th, 2017, but I didn't start tracking until New Year's Day because I didn't want to set myself up for a potential holiday failure immediately. My current stats as of February 22nd, my starting weight was 250, current weight 226. My goal weight, well, it's when I have that feeling. I am so very close to reaching my 10%, I can literally taste it. I've never made it this far in my previous Weight Watcher adventures. They weren't journeys yet, but this one is different. I know my why is solidly in the forefront of my thoughts, and I share it often because, honestly, it was such an eye-opening experience that when I realized why, I've shared my why with you in the past, and that's not why I'm writing in today. I'm still binge listening to episodes because I'm that person that has to do everything in order so I can listen to current episodes, and I can't listen to current episodes until I finish all the others. It's kind of like reading a book, a series out of order. I just can't do it. Your journey is too important to skip ahead. I was listening to one of your episodes the other day, and I wanted to say that it was episode number 83 in which you were talking about the hashtag 100 Days of Why challenge. I understand why you choose not to partake in it, but I wanted to write in and share a different perspective. I do take part in this because while I agree that all the little reasons why are part of a larger whole, each of those small reasons is an important part to my journey. I actually bought a journal specifically to write down those 100 reasons, and to be honest, it'll probably exceed 100, but that's okay with me. As you like to say, your best is different every day. Well, my tiny why a day, it's different every day as well. And ultimately, I want to write those into a checklist and post it on my vision board and watch as I can start marking them off. They won't happen in order in which they were why, but they will happen. Each one of those reasons will help me keep my why in focus and keep my journey at the top of my to-do list. We all walk this journey in our own individual way, but we look for and strive to find our tribe. I'm still searching for those people, but I know when I am meant to find them, they will be mine for a lifetime. I wish you good focus, and thank you for all you do and for your family has given to us, Meredith. Meredith, thanks for writing in. So if you're on episode 83, I'm not sure when you're going to get this one. We're 100 episodes ahead, but I wanted to take a moment to reach back out to you and say, keep doing what's working for you. You know, hopefully you now make it up to episode 181. That's where we're at. But you get to the point where if the 100 Days of Why challenge works for you, do it. I don't believe you'll ever hear me say, don't do something that I do or do something that I do because I told you that I do it. That's not how the program works. You have to find your own version of success. And if writing down every single day why works for you, then you got to continue doing it. I think it's probably more or less just a play on words. I think the 100 Day of Why challenge in a lot of ways for me would have turned out to be a non-scale victory challenge. And when you start celebrating things of, for instance, I'm doing the show, I'm wearing a camouflage jacket that when I went to go purchase, originally, they didn't have the size that I would have bought. And so I asked the lady, I said, can you order this size? And she kind of looked me up and down and said that will never fit you. I said, well, it's the only size you have, and I want to get it. And, and she said it didn't. So long story, but the point is I'm now wearing the jacket that she told me would never, ever fit me. So that is a non-scale victory for me, but you could also say it's my why. But so whether you recognize it as a non-scale victory, whether you recognize it as a why, you can't write it down because someone else said you got to do it. You have to find the different perspective that works for you, that keeps you motivated. That's the key. Is by you writing this down, something down daily, is you're connecting yourself to the journey in a way that is more than deliberate. You're deliberately writing down something every single day that is that focus we talked about. That's that empowerment that we talked about, where you understand why you're doing it and you feel energized enough to keep going. Now, I love how you open your email where you started on December 11th, but didn't really start until New Year's. I think that's so common for all of us, right? It's the Monday diet. It's the, I'll start we start looking at the calendar in September thinking we need to lose weight. And we say, well, I don't, we have Halloween coming up, and then we have Thanksgiving coming up, and then we have Christmas and Hanukkah and all the other holidays coming up. So, you know what? I'll start for New Year's. And so we go those 3 or 4 months, just kind of there. So you're absolutely, you're living the plan like so many of us did. And what's cool about that is because of that mindset, and then now you're very close to reaching your 10%, I can tell you that people who have done exactly what you have done, then hit their 10%, they have then gone on to hit goal. So if you've reached 10% in your weight loss journey, you can get there. Now, I love that you said you've never made it this far in your previous Weight Watcher adventures right after you said you're close to your 10%. And what I want to ask you is when you say you haven't made it this far in your previous Weight Watcher adventures, are you talking about a scale number, or are you talking about a length of time? And my question is, and my suspicion is that you wrote in thinking it was a progress on the scale, and I'm more concerned with a progress on the calendar. If you continue to check in daily, you don't have to be perfect on the plan. You don't have to be a superstar, rock star person where every single week the scale goes down, 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 down. But what you have to do is you have to show up every week. You have to check in every day. And you have to say, I'm empowered, I'm mindful, I want to get this done. And really, if you're checked in on you and you're focused on you and you're getting it done for you, does anything else really matter? Right? And so there you are. You got to find the way to figure it out. You hit your 10%. You keep going. It's an absolutely individual journey. It's an individual journey that we walk together with a group of friends. We share with each other. We laugh with each other. We cry with each other. But the reality is we want every single person to succeed. Success is so fun and so doable, but there isn't a limit on how many people that can be successful. So find your way, find your tribe, find those people. They will be there for your lifetime. Get in the Wise Wingman Facebook group if you're not already. Let's hop in there. When you get to your 10%, let's reach out and let's celebrate. Speaking of celebrating, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to FatDag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast link, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. I want you to share your story because as you hear so often on the show, people who share their story, you can hear the excitement in their voice. When someone loses 109 pounds, I can tell you the email looks different to me. I can see the excitement in the email, and I know other people, when they hear it, they become encouraged, they become empowered. So you now have an opportunity to share with the world how awesome it feels. You have an opportunity to demonstrate that you don't have to be perfect on the plan, but you have to never give up. And when you get to that point, you can do that. You can celebrate. You can join us. And when you join us, we become a community of people who want to get it done, and we get it done. Because why? Because I can do this. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the WhysAdvice podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit FatDag.com, click on Become a Patron today.